And I just
you want the
sit
lifestyle.
there. Yeah, exactly.
You want the house.
Exactly.
You want the car.
To support my hobbies.
You want the you want the food, right? The nice
support my
everything
hobbies.
nice, right?
Throw in the hobbies as well.
Okay, so yeah, okay. You want the hobbies. You want the trip to Paris, right? Okay.
Are you willing to share 50-50 with the guy?
Only if we agree to sign a prenup beforehand.
No, what do you mean by only? There's no
There's
prenup.
no only. There were
you
no
see,
only
before,
with
if
the man.
there's a situation where
Yeah.
I have the money, as he says, and I'm richer than this guy.
Yeah.
Before we get married, we just agree. You came in, let's say, with 5 mil. I came in with 20 mil. Let's sign a prenup right here. Knowing clearly, in case we divorce, you take first your 5 mil that you came with, I take first my 20 mil that you came with. And then from there, our marital assets, we divide 50-50.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of Breaking Boundaries. I'm Raoul, and I'm with Anthony, my co-host. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again. I hope we are going to have a great conversation.
Indeed.
So let me introduce you, Mackenzie. She's our guest today. And I feel like the fact that she's here, because she's a spicy lady, so her presence is going to
wow.
her presence is going to make the show spicy for you guys. So since we have a lady, because I have a question, I've been pondering. There's something I noticed, and I wanted to ask a lady about it. When I was younger, like maybe 10 years old, I noticed every woman of like 25 and up was basically married and with kids. But now there are so many single mothers. So there's a drastic change between how it was when I was younger and now, and how I see it now. So I'm wondering, as a woman, why do you think there are so many single mothers?
Oh, well, first of all, hi guys, I'm Kenzie. You can call me Kenzie. When in regards to that, I don't know. Back then I wasn't born yet. I think I'm younger than both of you.
Yeah.
I'm younger than both of you. I'm
Thank
literally
you for
Gen Z.
making us
So,
look
But I'm
old.
pretty sure when you were like 10, they were less single mothers than now, right?
exactly, like during my mom's era and all that. But for my generation, which I can speak about, you realize that most of us have not really freshened up with the concept of settling down. It's a horrifying experience when you think about it. Like if you think about, I'm going to have a hubby, I'm going to have kids, I'm going to have a family, it's a very terrifying concept. Because when you check, once again, back to the older generation, you realized, even if they were married, it didn't solve all their problems. So you're like, why should I do that?
But
why should I be like this other generation? Why can't I change the norm and just be by myself? And that's why you realize this whole thing of femininity. We don't have to get married. We just have to be single and happy, and it's okay. So for me, I don't know the reasons for other people, but speaking for myself, it's a horrifying concept just thinking about getting married with somebody.
But what do you mean exactly by be just yourself?
I'm saying personally, speaking from my personal experience. When I look around in my family for cousins, aunts, parents who are already married, I realize, this is something that's not for me. You realize that a lot of complications come your way. You realize some even never married for love. You just happened to find yourself there. You're married because you had a kid with somebody. For others, you realize, I was pushed into this when I was younger, and now this is the only person I knew, and that's how I ended up married to this person. For another person, they thought, this is going to be my happily ever after, and then 2-3 years down the line, you don't want to leave. Because, speaking from an African concept, divorce is not something we do, especially in this country. Divorce is not something
I would
we
say
do.
we used to do, but because now it is quite common.
It's not something that people are like going to think about as the first thing. So even if you're suffering, even if you're alone, even if you feel like you're at the end of the road, you just say, I'm going to stay with my husband. He'll love me somehow. And that's what I don't want.
Okay, so I wanted to ask a question about something you said, because you said they discovered, you observed that being married didn't solve all the problems, right?
Yeah.
But what can solve all our problems? There's nothing that can solve all our problems. It can help. It can help solve some problems, but not all. So, do you think that maybe the expectations are not realistic?
What do you mean expectations are not realistic?
The fact that you say that you observe that marriage didn't solve all our problems. That means you expect marriage to solve all our problems.
Exactly, because that's the thing that was placed before us. Everybody says that when you have marriage, you have peace, you have happiness, you have love, you have tranquility. And then once you get there, you realize it's just problem after problem after problem. And this thing that you were promised was just short-lived.
Okay, when you said that, I've been told that when you are married, you have happiness, tranquility, and all these things. Is it from movies or is it from real people that actually were married?
From real people.
That were married.
That were married.
Like you met, let's say a woman that was like 20 years down the line, married, and she told you that. Okay.
And you'll find the ones that speak like that are actually people from our grandparents' era. Not even our own parents, people that were born way, way back in the 60s, in the 50s, where you realize that this person, literally, they stayed true to their wedding vows. They stuck together until death did them part. Even if they are 90, this person has dementia and they still love this person. So for my generation, you look at it, even for me personally, when I think about somebody, thinking about getting married to somebody, that's what I want, you know? But then you realize the person you're married to, oh my God.
So is the person the problem?
I think so. Let me just say that. The person always ends up being the problem.
But how do you know the person is the problem if you haven't met the person yet?
Haven't we met them already?
So you
haven't we met them already?
You met your husband already?
No. Let's not get it confused. But we have met people we thought that were potential partners.
Okay.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody has been in that situation where you meet a girl, you meet a guy, and then you're like, this is somebody I can settle with. This is somebody I can build a family with. This is a person who I see my future with. You even see your kids in your head. You can see everything. But then something happens along the way and then you're like, nah.
Oh. But for people who are married for a long time, I don't think that works on the first try.
For some, it has. I have met somebody who actually had twice. He had happy ever afters twice. The first one ended tragically because the wife passed away. But a year later, he met another soulmate. And then they were married. But once again, this was not somebody who's 30s, who is in his 20s. Now, this is somebody who was 70.
Okay, so the fact that you said that people from the past generations, where it was easier for them to have that happy life into marriage, the fact that you said that makes me ponder, is it because marriage is no longer good or is it because we are no longer good for marriage? What do you think?
I think a lot of factors have influenced that. When you check today's world, in the past world, things have changed drastically.
So people changed.
Yeah, people changed along with it. Because you don't have the same thinking mentality that you used to have, politically, emotionally, even for our own opinions. Yeah. In the past, you realized, people were more willing to let guys take charge, right? You found back then when you say, I'm married, and you say, this is my husband. I can't even go shopping without my husband saying what I should buy, what I should get, if this is okay, what we should cook. I should just center everything around him. But now you find women have, let's say, accepted to be more self-aware. So you find a lot of women are now like, I want to take charge.
Okay.
I want to control my life.
But is it true?
I want to.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it true that a woman really wants to?
I don't think so.
To take control. Because, I mean, the concept is good, it's cute, but when it comes to...
just called the concept cute.
Okay.
It's nice.
Sounds good on paper.
Yeah. But in real life, does it really work?
It does.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You said that you met people that looked like a future husband, and then you discovered that they were not. Okay, so what is the perfect husband for you? Financially, every aspect, emotionally,
every aspect. Like, if I was to list down what I was looking for in a potential mate, a lot goes into it. Guys, I actually have a list that's called the Hell Nah list.
Okay, summarize it, please.
Okay, let me summarize it. Nah, I'll throw away that list.
Let me start financially.
But the fact that
Okay,
it's still long list is
financially.
a problem.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Your
The fact that you have a long
grandmothers you were
list is
talking
a
about didn't
problem.
have that.
Nah,
They
that's
didn't even have list.
Let me just call that.
Even the list is already.
Let me call my list of 40 plus things my petty list.
Okay.
of not things that I'm looking for, of things that will cancel you out.
We'll cancel you out.
Will cancel you out.
You have a long
Okay.
list.
It's 40 plus things on it.
Wow.
So if you come to me and then you're like, oh, you tick off a box there and it's not a box you want to tick.
Okay, walk
It's a
us
list
through.
where you don't want to tick any boxes.
So basically, you are looking for the perfect husband.
Exactly.
But humans are not perfect.
Exactly. So I don't want to get married.
Okay. So you were saying that now I'm confused because you were saying that what we were saying is that it is usually when you meet the man and the man becomes the problem. He doesn't like fit the family you want to have.
Exactly.
But now you are saying that you want the perfect woman and you know he doesn't exist. So
Now he has to exist somewhere.
I don't understand.
Somewhere, at least 1 in 100 have to fit your ideal
But
partner.
You said that
1 in
you
100.
want someone perfect.
Yeah, no, not perfect in everybody's concept,
Okay,
but
perfect
perfect
for
in
you.
my concept.
Okay.
Okay, but
Because my perfect is different from another person's perfect.
Okay.
can you give us a view
Yeah,
of
give us.
that list?
Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Help me. You started me off. You said financially, right?
Yeah, financially.
Financially, obviously, this guy has to be financially stable.
Financially stable, or what do you mean by financially stable?
Financially stable in that there is no shaking in his finances.
Okay.
I don't want any earthquakes when it comes to his finances.
Okay.
Like one day we can just sit down and he tells me, oh, babe, but you know what? If we buy something, we're out of cash.
Okay.
If we invest in mortgage, we're out of cash.
So basically-
if we pay for school fees, we're out of cash.
Okay, so what is
I
the
don't-
minimum to avoid that earthquake?
Ooh, in what currency?
Let's
Dollar, Kenyan shilling, you
No,
choose.
No, dollars is easier. Let's say your banking account, at least have a black card at least.
A black
A
card.
black card. I
Okay.
don't care what amount of
American
money is there.
Express.
An American Express black card in there.
what is
In
okay.
your wallet.
Okay, explain to me what does it mean because I don't know. Explain to me.
Basically, if you have an American Express black card,
Yeah.
it means you have money because it's
Like-
exclusive. It's not
Okay.
the type of. It's
It
not
shows
that.
that you have which kind of revenue,
Yeah, you have good revenue.
like millions of dollars.
At least, because
at
that card
least
is on invite
6
only.
figures at least
Okay, 6 figures at least. You are in Kenya and you want a man.
In dollars.
It's not 6 figure. It's more than 6
It's
figure.
more than-
Because
yeah.
in order for American Express, the criteria are not clear. We don't
Yeah.
know exactly. Only
Yeah.
'Cause it's
American Express
exclusive.
knows.
Okay,
But from what you can see online,
yeah.
you need to spend at least $250,000 a year.
A year, and that's expenditure.
spending
Expenditure, not earning.
Okay,
in order to be eligible.
$200,000 a year.
250.
250
That's
Yeah.
quarter a mil on spending.
on spending.
On
that means
spending.
that means you are making millions for
Yeah,
sure.
you're making
Yeah,
money.
at
You have
least.
money. You don't have petty cash. You have
Okay,
money.
Okay. So let me ask for the financial part. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You said, because I want you to try to understand what you said.
Mhm.
You said that you kind of envy the fact that the past generations were able to have that beautiful love,
Mhm.
right? Have you ever met a woman from that generation that had that criteria?
No, because they were in a young economy, in a very fragile economy. But right now, no matter what anybody says, money controls the world. It makes the world go round. So if you don't have it, you literally suffer.
No, but it was the same. Even before, you need resources to survive.
Yeah,
It's not-
but resources back then compared to now,
it's the same.
it's very different. The
Let me-
economy has changed drastically.
Let me explain.
Inflation is evil.
I'm not talking
Let me just say.
about numbers.
Uh-huh.
Because when you said you want a man with a black card,
Exactly.
it's not because you want to see the digits in the bank account.
No, I just
You want the
wanna see
lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
You want the house.
Exactly.
You want the car.
To support my hobbies.
You want the you want the you want the food, right? The nice,
Support my
everything
hobbies.
nice, right?
Throw in the hobbies as well.
Okay, so yeah, okay. You want the hobbies.
Mhm.
You want the trip to Paris, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so these are resources, right?
Mhm.
So even back then, our grandmother could have said that I want a man that has a farm this size, right? That this amount of land, that has this amount of cows, that have this amount of each. There were resources even back then. Even back then, you needed resources to survive and to thrive, right? So why didn't they had that these criteria for these resources? Because you are saying like now that we have money, you need money, but even back then you needed resources.
Yeah, but there's something you're forgetting though.
Okay.
Back then there wasn't the concept of what's his is mine. It's what's his is his. So whatever money he had, basically your husband is the one who's rich. You married the rich person. Right now, if let's say for example, I'm married to somebody who's rich, automatically as the wife, people see me. Oh, you're also the rich one. But they don't see it. They don't see it as this is just the cash for the husband. They see it as what his is hers.
Even back then,
it reflects.
It was the same.
No, I don't see it as such.
It's actually different now because
in the past I don't see it as such.
Let me give you an example. Okay, you want to add something?
Yeah, I would say that back in the days, the man was the provider, right? So he was the one who was bringing everything, the money and everything on the table, right? The woman was the mom raising kids and stuff like that. So now we have that concept that yours is ours and mine is mine, right? For woman. So if that is true, why do you need to take? What are you going to take control? What are you going to take in charge then? For someone who has a black card, for example, what are you going to give him in terms of money? Because you want to participate, right?
Here's the thing. When you married this kind of guy who has a black card already, he doesn't need contributions from you. In fact, you're getting contributions for him. Have you had something called girlfriend allowances?
Yes.
People get that. Right?
Yeah.
You've heard of that, right? Have you heard where there's a wife who started 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses in a month and they all failed, yet the husband was starting them, and as they fail, he invests more on her.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Invest more on her. Have you heard of these things where a wife looks like she's not working, but she still has cash flow?
It was the same.
In the past, I don't see it as such, because presently, if let's say, for example, these two decide we're getting divorced, right? The wife is always left with something. In the past, oh my God, if you left your rich husband, that's why people stayed with them, even if they're suffering, even if they're getting hit, even if you're basically abused, you stay with them, because if you leave them, you're basically left with nearly nothing.
But is it your money?
It's ours.
Why?
What's yours is mine.
Why?
Because we are married.
So,
I'm your other half.
I was already rich before we married.
Yeah, but it's now ours. Because you chose me. You would have chosen to stay with your money.
Okay, what if you are richer than the guy?
It's okay as well.
You're going to share?
No, I'll try to find a way where he can also get rich as me or even surpass me.
No, let's say we divorce. You guys, you are richer than the guy. Now you need to divorce because for some reason you don't feel each other anymore. Are you willing to share 50-50 with the guy?
Only if we agree to sign a prenup beforehand.
No, what do you mean by only? There's no
prenup. No only. There were no
see,
only
before,
with
if
man.
there's a situation where I have the money, as he says, and I'm richer than this guy. Before we get married, we just agree. You came in, let's say, with 5 mil. I came in with 20 mil. Let's sign a prenup right here. Knowing clearly, in case we divorce, you take first your 5 mil that you came with. I take first my 20 mil that you came with. And then from there, our marital assets, we divide 50-50. So if, let's say, for example, if our marital assets all come in total after marriage, we manage to make, let's say, 100, 200 million together. That means half of it. You get 100, I get 100.
Okay. So even if the 200 mil, let's say you made 200 mil together, right?
Jeez, why are there quotations on it?
I'll tell you why. You were the working woman. He was just home taking care of the kids, going to play, or he was the home dad, right?
He was using your black card.
And basically, he was using your black card. And then you are divorcing. Are you going to be willing to do 50-50?
Let me ask you, if you're saying quote unquote, how did we make the money together then?
Because you were the one actually outside working the money.
Yes, I could have been working, but maybe perhaps he was offering advice here and there, even if you're staying at home.
Okay.
Perhaps he was offering advice here and there. Perhaps whatever he did at home as a dad was more validated than anybody else could have done in any other company. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Even if we divorced, you took care of the kids as I worked. You were there every single morning when the child was crying. You were there through my actual maternity leave, right? You were there taking care of the kids, going to all their games, ensuring they know you're there.
So nice.
So I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
You know why I don't
but
believe?
He was like, but let's say, for example, he was, yes, the stay-at-home dad who did nothing. Literally nothing.
It doesn't
You're
matter.
just at home.
No, wait. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because when you said that your money is my money, you did not say that your money is my money if I do something.
No, when you're divorcing, you'll have to, there's a reason you're divorcing, right?
Yeah.
There's always a reason you're divorcing.
Yeah.
And for you to divorce quietly, elegantly, you have to have an understanding with each other. There's no way I'll divorce you quietly when I know you have done something really, really horrible, especially as a dad to my kids.
But that's subjective.
It's not. It's just common sense.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, for example, let's say this dad was the type of dad who never took care of your kid, right? Or let's say you were married to a wife, right?
Yeah.
You were working. You had a kid with this wife. But during her pregnancy, she never took care of herself or her kid. And then while she gave birth, she was never there for the kid. Actually, the household that you had, or the maid that you had, or the nanny that you had is the one who took care of this kid. And then she was always out in parties. She was irresponsible. She was the type of people getting into scandals because you're rich, mind you. You don't want any scandals with your wife, right? So imagine you're divorcing this type of lady, and then she has the gumption to tell you, you know what? We need to split 50-50. Would you have done that?
It doesn't matter.
Nah, would you? Think about it.
It's not about me. If I marry with common property, then I have to. It doesn't matter if I like it or not.
Nah, this is money you made after.
Yes, I know. If we married, right? If I marry with someone and we sign that we have common property, it doesn't matter if I was good or bad. I signed that what is yours is mine. So if you split, it's 50-50.
I don't see it as such.
Unless you have a prenup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless you have the prenup, and then after the prenup...
No, because in the prenup, you can include some clause like, if you cheat on me, you are going to take in, you are losing everything.
Okay.
Or you actually have to pay me.
Exactly.
Okay. If I put in the prenup that I don't take care, if you don't take care of the kids, then this happened. So you are going to document the proof that the person was not taking care of the kids?
Exactly.
Okay, I understand.
So that's a good thing about the prenup. That's what I'm saying. If you have the prenup and everything was up to par with the prenup, yes, I'm okay with splitting 50-50. But if you went just even a small clause, you just decided, oh, it says here that he never took care of the kids and his way of taking care of the kids was giving them junk food and then they became sick.
Yeah.
I can go to court and say, nah, he never took care of the kids because actually he made the kids sick because of the meals that he was making. I'm actually justified to say, nah, he went out of breach with our prenup.
But one thing I struggled to
I know,
understand.
you see how Raoul is looking at me right now. I know he has a question that's burning.
Go on.
Ask Raoul. Just ask. Open your heart. Say it.
Like I said, this one is very cute. Like the scenario you are... The way you are presenting, I'm going to share 50-50 with you.
This means I'm living in a Delulu, guys.
Yes, exactly. Because in fact, I'm not sure that you are going to do that because we asked you what are your criteria for a man. And the first one was you need to have a rich guy.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's super rich. That's not even...
Yeah, super rich. Yeah. Why do you need to have a rich guy when you can make that money yourself and share that with the man?
Nah, I'm making my own money. I don't disagree on that.
Yeah,
but on his end, me just knowing that you actually have cash and this was cash flow that you earned honestly and this is cash flow that you're still working on and it's still there. It's still growing. It shows me you have brains. So, shows me you have brains.
So the people who doesn't have money doesn't have brains.
They do not.
Do you have money?
This is not about me. The attack. This is not about me. I'm in the wrong situation at the wrong time. Let me just take myself out of this trap. I'm in the wrong situation at the wrong time. That's the reason. That's the reason.
Okay.
Exactly. Wrong situation, wrong time.
But do you know the situation in the time?
I know where my situation is. Guys, I mean, actually even in the wrong location.
You're even in the wrong body.
Exactly. So you can't tell me that where's the money? Nah, I'm in the wrong location, surrounded by the... Nah. It's actually the wrong location, wrong time, wrong moment.
Okay.
Okay, so what confuses me the most is that you saw a kind of love that you admired, and you want it, but you are not willing to do what they were willing to do to get it. So how would you? Is it realistic to want to say that you really want that love, but you are not willing to do what it takes to
now? Because what they did is something that isn't me.
It's not.
But that means it is delusion.
No, it's not delusional.
Let me explain.
Look, let me take this situation. What I want is, yes, this guy has the finances, and let's say, for example, we've met when I'm trying to figure out my own finances.
Yeah.
He's the one who is supporting me. He's always there to guide me, even if I fall, even if I trip, even if I'm making my own mistakes. He's giving me my room to grow. He's not the type of person who is always in my head. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I can't handle that. So I need somebody who is there to guide me. Hey, Kenzie, this is a mistake you've made. Would you need some help? You see? And then after that, he's not the type of person who's pushy. You know, I've met some people who are very, very, very pushy. They love to run into situations. They're like, let's get married. If you don't want to get married, they put a little scenario or tantrum. Let's have kids. If I don't want to have kids, they escalate it into something else. Yeah. If I'm even with a group of friends, if I'm outside, they become obsessive. Why are you outside? Why are you with this friend? You actually met this friend. I've been with them for years. So what do you mean? Why am I here? You find another person, they don't even want to talk to family. You know, you've met manipulative people, right? They don't even want you to talk to your own family. And that's the kind of things that I'm avoiding. And then you find sometimes also the love's horrifying. You know, pure love that they had back then. It's scary. Okay. Because it's scary. Because I'm seeing myself as though I've taken my heart from within me and then I'm handing it over to you.
Yeah.
So you can do as you please with it. You can crush it. You can hold it and just keep it beating. Something
that is very important for you is to make your own money, right? And to have a lot of money, right? So I will do the comparison with money. If you met someone, because you're interested in money, if you met someone that said, a man that said, I want to be rich, I want to have the black card, right? But I don't want to work. It's too hard to work. Or I don't want to take risk. It's too painful to lose money. Will you see that person as someone who is delusional or someone who is rational?
No. That's not a rational person.
That's not a rational person?
Yeah, to me. Because obviously, you'll make mistakes along the way. That's why I'm saying I needed somebody who has already made those mistakes to guide me through them.
I understand. I understand. So basically, if you see someone who wants money, the person has to be willing to do whatever it takes to make the money, right?
Yeah.
That includes sacrifices, right? Risk, right?
Oh, I thought you're meaning sacrifices like Illuminati sacrifices.
No,
yeah, sometimes.
Well, I don't know about that one. I'm
sometimes
like you have to deprive yourself sometimes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You cannot have the comfort that someone that doesn't have that ambition has, right? Okay. So we agree that to have something financially beautiful, you have to make risk. You have to work hard. You have to go through difficulty and take risk, right? Okay. Okay, so that one we agree.
Yeah,
so when it comes to marriage, you have people that are married, that back then that were married, that had that beautiful love. They did sacrifices, right? They took risk. So they were willing to compromise. So how do you think it is realistic for you to say that I want that beautiful love, but I don't want to take the risk? I don't want to compromise. I don't want to work hard on it.
I want that love without my generation.
What is no? Forget about the generation.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the right kind of love, but for me, not with my generation. My generation is not that.
What do you mean?
What do you mean not that?
Like the man needs to be way older than you, or
yeah.
Okay, like
they need
50,
to be older than
like 60.
Now, at least if I can say that I have decided to settle.
Yeah.
The age gap, 10, 18 is the max, I believe.
Okay. But when you say you're not your generation, what is in your generation that makes
They're
you
so unserious?
Okay.
They don't have brains.
No.
They do not have brains. They don't have the motivation. They do not have...
Let's forget about others. Let's forget about others.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we say that to if you want something, you should start work from yourself.
Yeah.
For you to expect others to match your level, you have to be at that level, right?
Exactly.
So let's forget about the others for a start. Let's start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you are willing to do the compromises, take the risk, and work hard on the marriage the way people back then used to?
It's not even an if. It's something that I have done. But
Okay.
the response that I got
Okay.
made me give up on the concept of.
So you gave up on the concept of marriage, but you want the beautiful love.
Exactly.
But is it the marriage the
How is
problem
it
or the
possible?
long-term relationship the issue?
It's all the above. It's the love, it's the risk, it's the commitment, it's the marriage, it's just the beautifulness of having a person that you can say, this is my person.
So you don't
You know?
want so you want the beautiful love, but you don't want the commitment, the risk.
Nah, I want it, but now I've been put in a situation where I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Okay.
Where whatever I am giving, I am not receiving.
Okay.
So I decided just to put up a wall, and I'm like, you know what?
But
Why not
behind
stay
your
alone?
wall, you still want the love.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go back to the money.
Uh-huh.
If you see someone that wants to be millionaire or super rich, to have the black card, right?
Mhm.
The person start a business.
Mhm.
The person invest in the business, work hard on the business,
Mhm.
do everything right,
Mhm.
but fails. And the person from there decide that I'm done with money. I'm done with trying to get rich. I don't want to take risk. I don't want to risk being hurt again financially.
Mhm.
Will you say that person is really serious about what you want?
No. I don't believe in quitters.
Okay.
I do
So
not
you don't believe in
quitters.
quitters.
Yeah.
So why are you quitting when it comes to
Because
love?
there's nobody who has given me the same response. Have you ever been in a workforce where you're the only one putting the actual positive addition?
So
And
if-
everybody else around you is doing literally nothing. That thing will pull you down.
Okay, so if you meet a man
Uh-huh.
that is serious,
Mhm.
will you be willing to compromise?
Who wouldn't?
Okay.
If he's serious, if he has drive, if he has motives,
Yeah.
and what he says is that, Kenzie, you know what? I just want you to stay here and give me the motivation that I need. I will be there.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Because
but-
that's what he needs me for at the time.
Yes, I understand.
Right?
Which type of motivation is he looking for?
The drive.
He's already rich.
Nah. He's asking now in the situation where he's not rich, he's trying to get rich.
Oh, okay. So the black card thing is not like a major.
Yeah, but it's somewhere we are headed.
Okay.
It's either there or somewhere we are headed.
Or you need to be close.
Yeah, because my ambitions have got to align with his. My drive has got to align with his.
So it can be poor. It's okay. As long as you
He's
think-
headed there.
He's dreaming.
As long
Exactly. As not even dreaming, he's working on getting there.
What do you
But-
mean by working?
You know, you can dream and just say you're dreaming.
Let me take
I
it-
can just sit here right now and say, you know what? I'm in Croatia and I have an apartment that's overlooking the beaches and that is it. But how am I getting to Croatia?
But what is the delay? What is the timeline? Let's say, for example, you are giving him like how many years to
3.
get 3
3
years
years.
to get there?
to get the black card.
What if he doesn't?
Can you get the black card in 3 years?
If given the opportunity, if given the right
No.
resources.
No.
Nah,
Are you
if
giving him the right resources?
That's what I'm saying. If given the right resources.
Are you giving
I will-
him the right resources?
We will know when the time comes, when he's there. If it's resources that I can offer,
Okay.
yes. If it's resources we have to outsource, I am good at that.
Okay.
I will help him outsource those resources.
Okay. Let me take an example,
Mhm.
right? You meet a boda guy.
Why am I with the Boda guy?
Okay, so if he's a boda guy, you're not interested.
Nah.
So boda guy cannot be rich.
Nah, he can, but no, where have I looked at the Boda guy?
So you want someone who's already rich, basically.
Nah,
or who-
at
who is
least,
at
sometimes,
least comfortable, but
girls, we think with our eyes.
Mm.
Most of the times we think with our eyes, Because somebody can walk in, you're both poor, but
Yeah.
maybe somebody has been in IT for years, doesn't have money, has just been in an office desk for years, looks depressed, looks done, and then there's a Boda guy. Who do you think I'll look at?
The IT guys.
Exactly.
So it's not true that when you say that you want someone who is heading there, because the boda guy could be heading there.
Nah, with this Boda.
He's probably making
Nah.
more money than the guy in
Nah,
the
he
in
can
the
make more
office.
money, but now he's cancelling out one of my many boxes.
What is
Which
the box?
one? Let's,
The list that I was telling you about.
yeah.
the long list.
Let's
What?
continue
Now
with the
he's
list.
now risking his life. Why are you in the Boda in the highway? Now you're making me worry about you.
What is the second point? Is risking your life?
Nah, that list I'm not telling you.
Okay.
I am not telling you what's in that list. Because when I tell people what's in that list, now they'll try to avoid that list.
So you have many lists.
No, it's one list. It's called the hell nah list.
Okay, but
where if you tick off something, you're out.
Okay, but the first point was the black card, right?
No, it's not part of that list. That's just something.
Okay, the black card is part of which list then?
Now, just a normal list, an ideal. Part of my delulu, an ideal.
Okay, the good thing is that you're admitting that is kind of delusional.
Yeah, because I think my person died in the Cold War. That's what I normally tell myself. My person died during the Cold War.
I still don't understand.
He died in the Cold War.
I don't think that during the Cold War they had a black card.
Yeah.
If he was from the Cold War presently, he would have had the black card. If he was there during the Great Depression, he would have had that.
So you want a sugar daddy?
Okay.
No. No, I don't. Sugar daddies are stressful. Guys don't get sugar daddies. They're very, very stressful.
Because if he lives through
Don't ask. No comment. No comment.
Sounds like a deja vu.
It's not. It's not. In fact, I plead the fifth. Let's continue.
Okay. So, do you see yourself as a woman who is going to be submissive?
Where?
No. So the answer is no.
No, where?
Okay.
Where? In what concept?
With your husband. Will you submit to your husband?
In what concept?
Outside of sex. Because the way you ask, I feel like you're...
No, she means with the black card in hand, it's different from not having the black card.
That's what you mean.
That's what she's thinking about.
No? She was thinking about sex.
Okay.
That's the only place my guys are supposed to be submissive. Nowhere else.
Okay.
So,
nowhere else.
Okay, let me ask you this, right?
So
there's no way you're going to be a submissive woman.
No.
But you envy love of submissive women.
No.
Because I just
envy the happiness they had.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
but I don't envy how submissive they were. I don't wanna be there every single waking moment waiting for you that I can't eat until my hubby shows up. I can't go out with my girls with my hubby has not given me permission. I'm not your slave, mind you.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. You wanting that beautiful love without wanting to do what they were doing to have that beautiful love.
They can keep it
delusional.
They can keep it
So
what do you mean to tell me somebody cannot love a strong, powerful, independent woman without having them to be submissive?
Okay, so we agree. So we agree that your desire for love is delusional.
No,
because
my form of love is something that most people do not desire.
No.
Let me just say
let's be real.
Because I'm not submissive. I am not. But I want somebody who accepts that whatever he's getting, he's getting a strong, powerful, actual boss kind of woman.
Okay. Do what?
What
do you mean to do what?
Because
when you marry somebody like this, you see this person as your equal. She's matching your wits.
No. You don't want your equal.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. It's not you.
Yeah.
But there are men who are like that. They're looking for somebody who matches their wits, somebody who stands by them as their equal.
Do you know that you're contradicting yourself?
Yes, a man with a black card who realizes that this woman, money or not, is still my equal.
Yeah, but it's not true with you.
You know what? Raoul just says that. Raoul just says that because he loves antagonizing me. He just says that, but he's not meaning it. He's not.
Because if let's say the guy at the beginning he was rich, right?
Yeah.
Something happened, life, like shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now he's broke.
We'll rebuild. How did he get rich? That's what I'm saying. He'll have brains, he'll rebuild. And I'll be there while he's rebuilding.
For how long?
As long as I can.
Forever?
I could.
Okay, but...
I could.
But you said, because I'm a bit confused, because you said that you want your man to see you as an equal, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't want an equal man. You said, I want a man that is richer than me, smarter than me, more emotionally stable.
I never said smarter than me.
Okay, no, let me explain why I say smarter. You said you want someone who already made the mistake to grow in life.
Exactly.
So that you will learn from his mistake.
Show the path.
Exactly.
By definition, he's smarter than you because he's ahead of you.
Let me ask, if you are married to somebody, let's say with a doctorate and you just have a master's degree.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But somebody else has married, this person has a doctorate, married somebody who dropped out of middle school.
Yeah.
Do you think this wife with the middle school papers and this wife with the master degree papers have the same wits? They do not. But then again, now that's what I'm saying. In societal matters, they do not think the same. But then again,
for who? For men?
In general,
no,
both men and women.
Don't mix
we do not think the
I'm
same.
a man, and I don't care. Actually, to be honest with you, right? I prefer a woman that is willing to learn, that did not went to school, that maybe might not have a doctorate or a master, but she's willing to learn. She's willing to make sacrifices. She's willing to work. Than a woman who is like doctorate and bossy. She thinks she knows everything.
Now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Now you're generalizing. Because it doesn't mean that since I have a doctorate, I'm bossy and I know everything. There's some things that I do not know, but I've married somebody who I see, oh, wait, in this aspect that I'm not good at, this person is. So if I stay with him, I grow. And on his end, he sees the same. We have both graduated the same. We both have the same money. We both have the same ambitions. But there's something that she knows that I do not know.
Yeah, but
and you strive to keep her before somebody else snatches her. Yeah,
but the issue was not on the degree.
Now I'm saying in the width. Because he said that I wanted somebody who's smarter than me. Now I was trying to compare. I'm trying to tell you the type of smart that I'm saying. Because as I'm standing here, I'm not a dumb individual.
Yeah, but there are people smarter than you.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm not just saying smart because, he can do math or we can do something. I'm saying smart in specific areas. Let's say, for example, as I'm an actual creative. I cannot marry a fellow creative because we'll bash heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I wanted to make money, I'd marry somebody in finance because that's something I do not know.
Okay.
Completely. That's his field.
Okay.
You see? If I was somebody into computers, but I wanted to go into medicine, let's say make tech for medicine, do you think this person will find interest in somebody who is in agriculture or find somebody who is in medicine if they met together on a date? He'll find the person doing medicine more interesting. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be smart in that. Oh, this person has a higher IQ than you. No, I'm saying smart in terms of something that I do not know.
I'm saying
that's what I want.
Smarter in life.
That's the quality that I want from him.
Let me change so that you understand more. You want someone who is ahead of you, ahead in life compared to you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that person that is ahead in life compared to you is better than you. Right?
Not really. There's something that he's not good at.
No, it doesn't matter. There's something that there are people, right, that are clearly better than all of us here.
True.
But there are things that we are better than them. But in life, they are better than us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you want someone that in general in life is better than you.
And does not show that he's better than me.
Does not show.
Yeah.
But he is better. What do you want?
Why would you go out and brag? Now that's where it becomes a turn-off.
I'm not, no.
You know, because I've met, let me give you an example. There was a time I was in a matatu. And for those who don't know, matatu is public transportation here in Nairobi. And there was a man, they were talking in the back seat because I was seated at the driver's seat. They were sitting in the back. And he was speaking really loudly. He was saying, I am happy that I married a dumb wife because I can control her. She doesn't know what she's doing. I'll tell her what to do. I'll tell her where I'm going. I'll tell her what to wear. I'll tell her what to buy. Yeah. And it really pissed me off. Because he was saying that, yes, I am educated and I married somebody from the rural areas. Mm-hmm. This lady had not even gone to school.
Yeah.
And it really, really ticked me off because this is a person clearly just bragging that, yes, I'm smarter than you, I'm richer than you, now I can control you. That's not the type of husband I want. Even if you're rich and I'm not.
But we have the same example with women too. So it's not because he's a man that he was saying that. It's just because he's a woman.
It even happens sometimes. Even some women have done the same to their men. It has happened where women are so rich. Now she goes and tells her girlies, you know what? I can even go cheat right now and he won't leave. Why? Because I have money.
Exactly.
And you'll find another person saying that, you know what? I'll control what he eats, what he wears, where we go, because I'm the one paying for everything. It has happened in both aspects. And that's the thing that I do not like. That's a quality that I see as, You can have the money, you can have the finances, you can have the luxury, you can have the perfect family background, but things like this.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but I feel like you're mixing things up.
Because, no, I'm not.
Let me give you an example, right? You can have a boss, right? Your boss is superior to you. That's very obvious, right?
Yeah.
But your boss doesn't like treat you like less. Your boss respects you. True. Your boss cares about you.
True.
But he is your boss, right? So in your mind, you know that this person is not my equal. Even though he treats me well, he respects me, he's not my equal.
So you're trying to compare marriages to...
No. I just want to use it to explain something to you, right? So you want the reason why your boss is because he's superior to you, right? So how can you want someone that is clearly superior to you, but you don't want to give him the respect that you usually give to people that are superior to you when it's in a company?
Because I'm not treating him as a boss. I'm treating him as my other half.
No.
I'm treating him as my other half.
No. The reason why you respect your boss is because he's superior to you, right?
But so you want me to... You're basically trying to say that else I cannot submit and make him...
No, I'm saying if someone is better than you, then if you want to learn from the person, or if you want to respect the fact that the person is better than you, you in a way you have to submit to the person. That's why when you go to school, you see a teacher, you know the teacher is better than you, let's say in math. So you submit to the teacher, you listen to what he says because he's better than you. So how can you, but for your case, you want a man who is clearly better than you, but you don't want to submit to him.
Exactly, because the form of submissions that people think about is, I don't think it's the way that you're thinking about it.
No. You that's why I'm saying.
And it's not the same way that I am thinking about it.
That's why I'm saying you're mixing. You're taking extreme cases to act as if they were general. I'm saying the fact that you submit to someone who is better than you doesn't mean you're licking his boots. It's just that you respect the fact that he's better than you.
But how comes respect has to be submission?
Well, let's define submission.
Why does it have to be that respect? Can I give you another example so that it can contradict that? Let's say, for example, you're not even a boss and an employee.
Yeah.
You're business partners.
Yeah.
You're business partners. And the only difference between you two, you're not even having a big drastic gap, right?
Yeah.
Even a 70-30.
Yeah.
Even an 80-20.
Okay.
You know? No drastic, because you put in money, right? And then it comes to a situation that this person that has the 51% now is belittling you.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
You're taking extreme examples.
This person, you cannot learn from them because every single time he always takes it as a challenge to show you that, you know what? You can't do this. Now let me show you the proper way to do it.
You are mixing things up. Can you please explain?
Because that's the whole thing that I've always been saying.
Okay.
Perhaps from your experiences, it's different.
No, you're taking extreme examples, but from my end, you are generalizing them because you are saying that because he's better than you, he will belittle you. That's not. I took the example of the boss. He can be superior to you, but he's not belittling you, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
it doesn't.
Don't we learn from other people's mistakes? Because that's the thing I've been saying.
But I think that the issue here is the submission, right? So let's start by having like a definition of submission.
Everybody to describe what their submission in the form of submission is.
What do you think about submission? What is it to you?
For me, submission is based of what I've seen. Like what you're saying, I'm generalizing.
Yeah.
It's because of what I've seen. When people think about submission, especially, I'll give an example about our Kenyan men.
Yeah.
Right here. I'm not even going to go far. I'm not going to go East Africa. I'm not going to go Australia. Now, our Kenyan men. When they think about submission, they think about a wife who is always there 24/7 at their beck and call.
Yes.
They think about a wife, like the Ugandans, how the wives are always serving food when they're kneeling. They're taking off your shoes. They're taking off your socks, you know? And then they can't eat until you arrive. They can't eat whatever you do not like, you know? Like, let's say, for example, Raoul loves bananas. Every single day, this woman will strive to cook bananas until at least 3 to 5 times a week.
That's how Ugandan women are?
No, I'm saying for example.
Okay.
But no, they really do. They do.
Ugandan women.
They do kneel when they're serving you food. They take off your shoes. They take off your socks. Yeah, they do that. And then you find sometimes also submission comes in that most people love the man to take control of their finances, right? Yeah. You're in charge of literally everything. Me as a lady, I cannot make purchases without saying, Anthony, I need to buy this and this. Can we? Anthony, we need to pay rent, but there's this emergency that has showed up. How can we? They don't want something like that. They just need the man to focus on it. The man to take control of the finances. For you as the lady, you grab in the qualities of a proper African lady. You be quiet, go to the kitchen, take care of the kids. That's what most Kenyan men think about submission. But for me, in my end, when I think about that, I just get tired. I get exhausted because it's not who I am.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so let's say you have a guy, okay? you're not going to offer that type of Ugandan woman submission, what are you going to bring? Which type of submission are you going to provide to these men?
That's what I'm saying. For me, I think submission and respect, I separate them.
That's where the problem is.
I separate them.
That's where the problem is.
I see them as two different things.
That's where the problem is.
Because I can respect you as a human being. I can take your opinions into account, but I also need you to take my opinions into account. That's when I say listen and talk and listen as communication should be. I don't want my voice silenced. I want, as much as you want me to respect you, I want you to respect me. You can allow me to have my own opinions and you can listen to me genuinely. And I can be allowed to hear what you have to say, and then we meet at a compromise. That's how I see respect as.
Yeah.
You see? That's why I separate both of them.
I think we don't have the same definition of submission. That's why we don't understand each other. Because let's use the general definition. Can you please check what is submission online?
Let's ask.
Because I feel like if you have a teacher, right? Your teacher is better than you. Let's say a math teacher. He's your teacher because he's better than you at math. To learn from the teacher, in a way, you need to submit to the teacher. By submit, I means trusting that he knows better than you and learning from him because he's higher than you in math, right? If you don't submit to him as a student, there's no way you're going to learn from him because you don't recognize the fact that he knows better. If you don't recognize the fact that he knows better, you are going to question everything he does. But
let me ask you, nobody knows better. So if you submit, submit to this person fully, but you know, whatever I'm keeping in my head, that's the right direction let's say, for example, if we're an issue and that's the right direction we should go and it will save us instead of digging us into a bigger hole.
Yeah.
You'll find now with the concept of the general aspect of submission, people will be like, you know what? I'll hold my tongue then.
Okay.
And that's, I cannot. Personally, as my own personality, I cannot. I find it hard not to speak. I find it hard not to be listened to. You know? You can't just shove me and my voice in a corner and just expect me that.
But you already do that.
To trust your full judgment.
You already do that.
No, I do not.
It's just that you have a problem when it's in marriage, but you already do that.
I do not trust anyone's judgment fully.
When you go to
I barely trust my own judgment fully, so why should I trust your judgment fully?
Let me take an example, right? You told us about matatu.
Yeah.
When you go into a matatu, don't you trust that the driver is going to...
I do not. In fact, I pray to the gods as we are driving.
But you don't go and question the driver. Okay, so every time you enter a matatu, you go and question the driver, why are you taking this turn? Why are you going there?
Exactly.
That's what you do.
I do. Okay. I do. When you sit with me in matatu, it's wild. Especially when I'm a driver's seat.
Yeah.
I'm basically a co-pilot.
What if you are not in the driver's seat?
I have anxiety. Literally yesterday, I was questioning why we are taking a wrong turn. I looked outside the window and didn't know where we were. So I was asking, why are we taking wrong turns?
So you're never going to take a plane?
No. You take the plane.
Okay.
And then you stay on the screen and check the route until you arrive at your destination.
But the route doesn't change anything.
If it changes, I'm right down the cockpit. Why has the route changed?
Do you even know the road?
What if there's no screen?
What do you mean there's no screen?
There are planes that have two planes that didn't have screens.
Yeah, but why didn't you check online before on Skyscanner and confirm that they do have screens on the plane?
Who does that?
So if you
I do. I do.
Let's even keep the screen. Let's say there is a screen, right? Let's say there is a screen,
I overplan.
How do you know that he's not going to make a decision? How do you know he's not going to stop the engine, for example? He can be on this good route, but he's stopping the engine, so the airplane will follow. How do you know that?
You do realize that there are apps that monitor planes right now, even if an engine goes blank.
So
you can check. I'm very paranoid. What
are you gonna do?
No, I'm very paranoid.
Yes,
I will check, and I'll be the first person to save myself.
How?
So I'll be there at the cockpit. Before you save yourself, I'm also saving myself.
You cannot open the cockpit when
How are you going to open the cockpit?
I will find a way, Raoul.
I
will find a way.
That doesn't work with the plane.
I will find
internet in the airplane.
I will find. What do you mean? The airplanes come with internet, right?
Most
now?
of them.
There's airplane Wi-Fi.
Most of them don't.
Then why did you board the plane?
When you have
Wi-Fi?
internet, it's super expensive. But most people are not online.
Please pay for it.
No, you are the one taking the airplane. I don't have a problem, so you will pay for it.
Please pay for it. I'm very paranoid. I'll ensure I know the entrances of that plane, the exit of that plane. I'll check the blueprint before we go in, and I will make sure that I know where everything is at.
Okay. So
I overplan.
Basically, you don't trust the person basically
in charge.
You don't trust the person in charge, right?
Why would you trust that person 100%? At least let me trust you 90%.
No, but
allow me to be suspicious of you 10%.
No, you are not talking like someone who's going to trust 90%.
No, that is 90% trust because I'm already there. If I'm already there, 90%. But now that 10% is now what's speaking. The overplanning.
Did our grandmothers trusted their husband?
They're not me.
Okay.
They're
so
not
you don't
me.
want to do what they were willing to do to have that beautiful love, but you want that beautiful love. That's what I'm trying to understand.
I want that love to find me generically.
But you don't want to work for it.
And for it to have all the qualities that I wanted.
Yeah.
And for it to fit in with my goals and my priorities. You see?
Okay. So it's all about what you want. But what about reality?
Reality can be fixed.
So if you want money and reality says that you have to work hard to get money, you can fix the reality and find a way not to work and get money.
There'll be easier ways.
No.
But you are looking for someone who got more, who is ahead of you, right?
Yeah, as I initially said.
Okay, so
if it happens, that's a bonus. Have you had bonus points? Like when somebody says, "Oh, if you are applying for a job, if you can speak Spanish, that's a bonus point." Yeah, it's the same concept.
Yeah, but are you going to listen to that guy?
No. She's not. You are not submissive.
What is he saying in the first place?
Because you are not. You don't want to.
You're not listening. Listening in what ways, Raoul? In what ways?
In every way.
Now, is he saying this to be respectful or just to be bossy?
Let me give you an example of something he says. Maybe it will help for you to answer.
You're giving an example of Raoul now.
Of Raoul? Okay,
give me an example of this fantasy man who's bossing me around because he has a black card.
No, it's not necessarily. So because if someone tells you what to do, it doesn't mean the person is bossing you around. That's why I'm saying you're taking extreme.
No, that's what I'm asking him. In what aspect?
Okay.
Is it an advice? Is it just saying to be bossy? Or?
No, he's not bossy. He's just saying we should spend this amount of money for the education of our children. Let's say he says that, right? Are you going to listen and do as he says?
Has he given me a logical explanation why we are using a certain amount and not a different amount?
So he needs to give you a logical explanation.
Like I said, listen and talk and listen.
So
and then we meet at a compromise in the middle.
So basically you are not going to trust your husband.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Let's say, for example, let's make this wider because they're just generalizing it. Let's break it down. Let's say, for example, your explanation, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, I'm married. This person clearly is richer than I am.
Yeah.
Clearly, maybe he has millions. I just have a 5 or 6 figure.
Yeah.
And we have lovely kids. And he decides, you know what? We're going to take our kids in a Swiss private boarding school. And it costs 1 million per semester.
Yeah.
And then I come around and I'm like, no, why should we take them there when right here where we are, we have perfectly good private institutions where they can come and go and can see our kids every day. Yeah. And it costs less. You see, those are 2 different opinions.
Yeah.
But then now this is where the talk, listen and talk comes in. Now you have to come in with your points. Why are we taking them to Switzerland in the first place? Why are they going to a boarding school? And if they have to be in a boarding school, why not here? You see, why do I want them home? Why do I want them closer to home? Why do I want to save when we can clearly spend and we have the money? So we meet at the middle.
But that's a good problem. Like the type of, I want to send my kid in Swiss and you don't want.
Yeah, that's a good.
Me, I was trying to.
That's too hard.
I was trying to illustrate.
You meet in the middle.
Me, I was trying to show a financial decision.
Okay, let me make another one. A good example with guys. You buy cars, or somebody who has a shoe obsession more than I do.
Yeah.
Or no, even just for me.
Yeah.
I love red bottoms, right?
Yeah.
Red bottoms go for, the cheapest red bottom I've seen is 2,500. The highest can go for 10, 15 grand, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, I come and tell you, babe, I did a charge on our cards and bought 15 boots each for 10 grand.
What do you mean our card?
Me as the woman.
I thought you was the one who...
No, I'm saying, for example, we take that example. I came here and then said that, right? I've come in. I want your opinions on that. I've come in. You've given me access to your card, of course. I go, you see boxes. You're like, babe, what has happened? I tell you, I bought shoes and they were 10 grand. And you ask me, in total? That's okay. I'm like, nah, each shoe was 10 grand. And it's a shoe I'll wear once. Because I have an entire room full of the same shoe.
Yeah.
Would you think that's a responsible thing?
Depends how rich I am.
For me, it depends on how rich I am and how is my relationship with my wife. Depends.
Now, for me, I still see it as a dumb decision. No matter how much money you have.
It doesn't have to be smart.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be smart.
No, for reasons like that, I see them as dumb decisions.
Why?
Because why would you buy something so extravagant that was clearly a want and not a need?
Okay, but why not?
Why not? If you have the money. And
because you clearly will not use it.
But you clearly know that
you do realize most of your wants you do not end up.
But I feel like we are going away.
Most of your wants you do not.
That's
end up
not even what I wanted to know.
What
I want to ask, right?
Yeah.
If there's because you said you want someone who is richer than you, so we know financially is better than you,
exactly,
smarter than you, right? So
financially,
that's what I'm saying. So financially, there's a financial decision that has to be made, and he says we are going to do this. And you ask why, he explains, but you don't understand, right? Are you going to submit to him and let him decide?
No, I'll give him my points first.
Yeah.
Even if I don't understand whatever he's trying to tell me, I'll give him my points first and ask, why not this? Can't we go like this?
And
why can't?
No.
And then he says, no, we will find a way to compromise and meet right in the middle.
Why are you compromising? He's smarter than you. So,
I'm saying, let's say, for example, even if I don't know, I find it like, sometimes you can, in your mind, in your heart, you can feel, there's something that's not right. Doesn't make sense. I'll try as much as I can. Even if it makes a small difference, at least I know this person took the time to listen to me. Because you find sometimes there are men who are like, or even women who are like, this is what is happening. And that is it.
Yeah. That's wrong.
That is wrong. And that's the kind of one that I'm
sure.
Yeah.
But what I want to understand, right, is that you as a woman, you cannot have a husband who is clearly better than you in finances, right? But you can have a husband who is clearly better than you in finances, right? But you cannot disagree with him, but trust him that, okay, I know this person cares about me and he's better than me. So even though I feel like he's wrong, I'll trust him with the decision.
Now, it happens sometimes. Once in a while, there'll be a situation where it's like that. So but not every single time.
But every single time, he's better than you.
Nah, I'm saying like a situation like that where I have to say like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give you the reins. I trust you on this one.
No, why only this one? Because
no, I'm saying like there'll have to be a situation where completely I cannot have a say. And there'll be a situation where on his hand, completely he cannot have a say. It's like, you know what?
So it depends.
Yeah,
sometimes you
not,
trust,
but
sometimes
no, it's not about trust. It's not even that kind of trust. I think we are now on odds when it comes to trust now. Because yes, I trust you. That's why I'm with you, right?
No,
yes, I trust you. No, that's why I'm married to you. Okay. Yes, I trust you. That's why we're having this conversation in the first place. So if we haven't come to a compromise, let's say I can say, okay, so there's no compromise on this situation, right?
What is trust to you? What is trust to you?
Does it really have a definition?
Yeah, of course.
About trust.
How do you know, when I say trust, how do you know I'm talking about trust? It must have a definition.
How do I describe trust to you guys on my end? Trusting somebody, actually, that is where we'll...
Maybe I can give you an example.
No, because I'll end up contradicting myself if I describe the word trust. If I end up saying what I think trust is, it might contradict the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
So you don't believe in the definition? You don't believe in trust? Then?
No, I believe in trust, yes, but there are situations where I cannot allow myself to just trust you blindly.
So you believe in half trust?
Okay, but at least give the definition of trust, and we know that in some cases you won't trust.
Okay, for me, trust is I either believe in your judgment or believe in you as an individual, right?
Okay.
So if I trust you, let's say, for example, emotionally, I know this is a person who is going to take care of me, is going to be with me, who won't do anything to hurt me. Yeah. If I trust you mentally, I know this is a person who will not allow myself to doubt myself or manipulate me into doubting myself. If I trust you financially, I know that this is a person, whatever decisions I make, in the end, will find a way to make things right?
Okay.
But now sometimes you might just trust somebody because you're like, you know what, I trust you. And then you find out, oh, wait, whatever he made, it was just a dumb decision. Now we are broke. Sometimes you trust blindly because it has happened.
Okay, I understand.
And I avoid it. That's why I'm saying we can at least have that conversation. If we do not reach a compromise, that's when I can say, you know what, Raoul? Let's do it your way this one. If it doesn't work,
you don't need
let's
a compromise.
do it my way.
If you really trust it, you don't need a compromise.
But sometimes people lie. I can come to you with a decision
and it wasn't
what, because you have to put that into account. People have flaws.
There's no trust with lies. If you trust someone, you're not going to think he will lie to you.
No, that's just trusting blindly.
Okay.
To me, that's trusting blindly.
Okay, so you trust, but without trust.
No, I trust, but keeping in mind, back at my head, that, remember, man is to error.
That means if you...
And for me, then, he should also remember, man is to error. Okay. So I don't expect myself to trust him like 90% or even 99% in a certain situation, and for him to trust me 100%. In fact, even 110. Yeah. I don't expect that.
Yeah, I understand that part. It's kind of common sense, okay? Mm-hmm. But the part that is a little bit blurry is when you are saying that you want someone who got more experience than you, right? So let's take the example of the pilot, for example. So for you to second guess the judgment of that pilot, you need to be at least... you need to be at least have the same amount of knowledge as him in that field.
Exactly. Right? When you get to the point where you're second guessing this person, you have learned enough to say, pause.
Good. So that means that it's 15 years. This is real life experience, right? Mm-hmm. So how can you second guess what the choices that he's trying to, like the advice he's giving to you?
Yeah, because people, you'll get advice, right? You learn and then you end up having your own opinions.
Yeah.
You end up shaping your own opinions about something.
But
so let's say, for example, not leave alone even finances, just in general, he has taught you this and that and this. Now you've gotten a gauge of something.
Yeah.
Now you're at least understanding a little bit more than you were initially. You see, those are two different individuals. Yeah. The person he met and not the person that you are at this point, because you have grown with him, right? Now you've reached a point where you can say, can we have a debate about something? This does not make sense, right?
Okay.
Bring your pros, I bring my pros, bring your cons, I bring my cons.
I understand that one, and it makes sense.
It's not like I'm questioning him every single, from the beginning.
Okay. But the example I gave you, I that's what I said, you don't understand his reason because you're not at that level yet. That's why I said there's a financial decision you don't really understand, but a decision has to be made. Are you going to trust him even though you don't understand?
And in regards to that, I said that if I don't understand and if I give him my reasons of why I don't understand and we do not reach a compromise of something, I'll say, you know what? Take the handle on it. Okay. But if it doesn't work, how about we try my way, which maybe perhaps would work even if I don't understand, right? I'll give you, because you came up with the idea, right? You came up with this question, you came up with a situation where you need to solve, right? So when you come, we have discussed, we have talked, and we realize, oh, wait, we're still at odds. So it's not like giving up. I'm just passing on the reins to you. I'm like, take the reins. Let's guide this horse. If it doesn't work, now let's come back to me. Try it my way, Okay. But I don't want something like where we have this situation where even if I give you the reins, you get stuck on the reins.
Okay.
You do not bring them back to my side. You don't want to bring them completely. In fact, I never even had the reins to begin with.
So there are two leaders in your family, you and your husband, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not even leaders like we are controlling each other. It's like a good cohesion.
Okay. Yeah.
A good partnership. I don't think, a cohabitation. I'm not thinking about it as people who are bashing heads each and every time. Like a cohabitation, a partnership, a union. We are one. We came as two separate beings and now we are one. That's how I think about it.
So basically, you want your own version of marriage because what you're describing is very
sometimes
different.
I always think that I want the happiness.
But you don't want what?
But now the nitty-gritty parts of it is where I'll build it brick by brick.
Okay.
I'm like, this is what I want here, this is what I want here. But that pure happiness that you can rely on, that sometimes you can just sit down and unwind and say, no matter how it goes, this is my person. Regardless. You see?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But will you define yourself as a feminist?
Not really.
Why?
Why?
Not really. Because sometimes I also find my gender doing things that I'm
Not supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm just quite in the middle. I'm on the fence. I'm Humpty Dumpty. I'm on the fence.
But do you believe that there's such thing as a gender equality?
To a degree.
Which degree?
To a degree. Obviously, the way we normally say that, gender equality, but clearly sometimes we do know that there are things that men can do and we can't. It's just a saying that one man can do, women can do better. It's just a saying.
So why are you saying that then?
No, I'm saying it's a saying.
Yeah.
It's a saying. There are things that I know you cannot do as a man that I can. There are things that I as a female cannot do clearly, but you can. And that's what I'm saying. The cohabitation comes in. I don't want you to separate me and put me back.
Back where?
Pressed at the bottom.
Okay.
It's like now you're the superior being. I don't want. Don't listen to them, guys. Please do not. I've stayed here long enough. Please don't listen to that. I don't want to be in a situation where instead of cohabiting, I always find a way to breathe. I'm struggling to breathe. I don't want that. Because we have people who are like that. They're not feminists, of course, but they just want to press their wife down.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just want to say, you know what? This is not something women do. This is not something... I don't like that. I want somebody at least... when I say see me as an equal, people feel pressed about it.
You're a semi-feminist?
No, I'm just on the fence. There are some things you'll tell me about something I'll agree with. There's something that I'll completely not agree with. I'm just on the fence. Non-partisan. I'm just right there.
Okay.
But will you, as a woman, will you agree to become like a stay-at-home mom to raise your kids?
If I have achieved all my goals and ambitions, or before?
No, let's say
just
you have 4 kids, and you can talk about your goal and ambition first and see if it's possible.
Okay, for my goals and ambitions are something that I can actually do at home as well. I can just switch them and do them at home or do them less in a week.
Can you do them at home while taking care of 3 to 4 kids?
Yeah.
You sure about it?
I am.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I can't speak about other people, but with how I was raised, I grew up too fast. My brother was born when I was 8. By the time I'm 10, I was thinking like a 14-year-old. By the time I'm 14, I'm allowed to make decisions like I'm an 18-year-old. By the time I was 18, I was allowed to think, act, and expected to do my duties as a 25-year-old. So I grew up and I'm the firstborn in our family. So growing up, taking care of people, I find it not even a chore. I find it second nature. So if somebody tells me that, are you willing to be a housewife and all that, as long as I'm allowed to express myself, as long as I'm allowed to continue with my goals and ambitions, sure, why not? Because it's something you can hack as a parent.
What if your goals and ambitions become at odds with the family?
They'll never be.
They'll never be.
They'll never be.
How can you tell?
Because they haven't been so far.
But you don't have a family yet.
Nah, but with, like I'm saying, with my personal experience, I raised my younger brother. I'm basically like what we call a deputy parent. My parent was always working and all that. So I had to learn how to be a daughter. I had to learn how to be a student.
But that's different. In that case, you were just a maid. That's a maid job you were doing.
No, not a maid job.
Yeah, you were a maid. You were not the parent.
No, taking care. I don't know if you guys understand what being a latchkey kid was like. I don't know if you guys grew up like that. But latchkey kids are kids who never had their parents at home in the evening when they came home from school. Because their parents were basically working, right?
Yeah, but you were not handling the financial part, for example.
Exactly. But now when I'm saying that I was expected to act a certain age, during a certain age, my parents introduced me into finances way early on. So by the time I was 14, I was allowed to make decisions. Who do we hire into the family to take care of things when we're away? What do we buy? What do we do when it comes to this situation? How do we budget? These were things that I was taught. In case I find myself in a situation where my parents are not there, it's just me, my brother, or perhaps me, my husband, and my kids. Can I take charge? So I was raised different. For some other person, it could be, if you're just a stay-at-home parent, that's it. Okay. But for me, I'm an overachiever. So when I say I can hack it, I mean it.
But today, as a grown woman, what are your goals and dreams?
Oh, there's a lot.
Let's start somewhere.
Oh, there's a lot. There is educational goals, first of all. I'm finishing my BA currently. I was behind. Like I said, I make plans, right? I make plans A, B, C, and what I call a plan Z. In case all these 3 plans fail, what is my break in case of emergency type of plan? So with my plans, let's say educational-wise, I'm finishing my BA. I'm late. I was already late. I was supposed to finish my BA when I was 22, but COVID happened. So I'm finishing my BA right now and I'm turning 24. So I finish my BA, I take my master's for a year, I take a fellowship for a year, and then I say education-wise, I'm done. I don't want a PhD.
Okay.
I don't want any further education. I don't want a doctorate. I just want to take my master's in a specific course, take my fellowship in that, and then I say I'm done, right? And then you come into my career choices. Career choices are broken down into so much, because they're all entertainment-based, they're all art-based, and then now you find they're breaking down. I'm a podcast host. You find I do films as well. I'm a published author. You find all of these things going in and then adding my journalism into it as well, my freelance journalism. That's
so you can do all these things while raising 4 kids.
I can.
Powerful,
I can. You see? That's what I'm saying. When somebody is coming to approach me, remember you're not approaching just a random person. You are approaching an actual calculative boss, a powerful calculative boss. I see my plans. If my plans don't work, and the funny thing about me is that even if I date somebody, I end up putting them in my plans. Even if they don't work, even if we break up, I end up putting them in my plans. Somehow, I fix them into mine. So I'm like, I'm like, let's say for example, I end up marrying with this person. How will our goals fit? I'll have to ensure that you are as ambitious as me. I'll have to try and push you. Right? I'll try to push you into your goals because I end up asking, what are your goals? What are your dreams? The same way you've asked me about that. So if you tell me, your goal is to start a whole entire merchandising company, I'll try to push you to get there. I know clearly I don't have the finances to boost you, but I'll push you to get there, right? If you need my help in something that I can do, I do that. So I end up doing that. I end up caring too much. I end up being calculative with your things as well. So you find sometimes, Kenzie, there's this. So what do we do? And then I'm like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
But where is the place of love?
Oh?
The place.
It's also part of this. It's also part of a goal, right? You want a loving family, a nice bunch of kids, a loving husband who is obsessed with you in every single aspect, no matter what comes your way, right? Whatever comes in his way too. You find that you're obsessed with each other. It's like,
cute. Yeah.
It's like you're drunk in love with each other.
Basically, you want like that beautiful, long-lasting love.
Yeah,
right?
and he loves my kids and my kids love him and we're engaged. The type of love where...
You love your kids? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Do you hate your kids?
No. Okay, you say he loves your kids,
but
right?
You're both.
No, yeah, they're both ours. That's what I'm saying. They're like the kids.
You mean our kids?
Yeah, there's our kids. Okay, let me repeat. Our
because
kids.
That sounds like a baby mama.
Exactly.
No, I don't. I do not do baby mama drama. I do not. So it's our family.
How do you know?
I do not.
Because
I can't stand it. Even baby dramas, I cannot.
So if you marry and you divorce, if you marry, you have 1 kid and you divorce.
I don't think I'll get married again.
Okay.
I'll just be happy with me, my kids, and I ensure that the relationship they have with their dad is perfectly fine. We are civil, as I say. You see?
Yeah.
So without that, I don't see it as, I'd rather stay with myself. If I don't have that, if I don't have somebody who can say, you know what, babe, let's take the kids to our grandparents and then we go out for the weekend, right? At least for the weekend. Or even he can say, you know what? Let's teach our kids something. Let's go adventuring this weekend or even once a week or something like that. If that doesn't happen, I'm like,
Okay, yeah, I understand.
You see?
So you don't want that old love. You want your love.
My love that's built brick by brick.
By you.
Know, by me.
With your own principle and your own reality. Right? That's what you want.
But of course, you'll find somebody who fits into the same delusion. You'll find somebody who is like, that was the exact same.
As you.
Exactly. Somebody who matches your freak, somebody who matches your insanity, somebody who matches your crazy. Because who wants normal? Normal is boring.
How is it going so far?
Okay.
I'm not looking.
You're not looking?
I'm not looking.
How long have you not been looking?
2.5 years. I've not been looking for the past 2.5 years.
Do you know how many black cards you miss?
COVID struck. There are no blackouts.
Who told you?
COVID struck. The economy went wherever it went, inflation kicked in.
If you
So
are really rich, COVID is nothing for you.
This is for poor
please,
people.
if you have a black card, call me. Or if you once upon a time had a black card, call me. Or if you've held a black card, call me. If you work for people who give out black cards, you can also call me. Oh,
For
but
what? If they are working for
they'll give me
Amex.
one. Yeah, they'll give me one.
The
You
name
know,
of
if he's the bank manager, at least he can try and get you for sure. You know, for you to have and just hit the metal. Oh, the sound, Anthony! You should hear the sound that makes. It's metal. If it hits the table, it's good sound. I don't want cha-ching. I want that sound of metal hitting the table. Cling. But I don't want cha-ching. I want cling. Guys. You have made me answer so much.
Is pure love conditional or unconditional?
Pure love.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that.
Do we even have pure love?
Okay, is your definition that beautiful love you want?
Exactly.
Is it conditional or unconditional?
I'd say unconditional.
So why do you have so many conditions?
No, mine are not conditions. They're just things that I cannot.
Okay, yeah. Whatever you have in your list, they can fit here. If, things, then, right?
No, mine are not even if, then.
Okay.
These are just...
If, black card,
oh,
then
yeah. No, I don't have a list like that.
Okay.
I'm not the kind of girls who have a list like that. Like, I want a guy who's 6 foot. I want a guy who's tall. I want... That was just a need, you know? A black card is a need.
Okay, so you
or
said...
a want. In fact, it's a want.
You have your hell no list,
yeah,
right?
my hell no list compromises. Let me explain to you guys. My hell no list, it's things that if I hear, if I even suspect, if I even smell it on you, I'm not even talking to you again. Not even as a potential hubby, as a potential individual.
Like what, for example?
You're out the door.
We want to know.
Okay, let me give you an example. Cave divers. I'm looking at you.
Cave divers?
Cave divers who go to the French catacombs to dive in caves. Small holes. They look the size of this cup.
Yeah.
And then somebody's diving into it.
So
why are you making me worried about you?
Okay.
What if you suffocate? What if I don't find your bones? What happens? Rock climbers who climb without harnesses. Why are you doing this?
For work?
No,
I guess.
for hobbies.
Okay, so if...
You're just rock climbing without a harness. Or those who parkour off buildings.
So it's okay if he's doing that for his work?
No. Why is there no harness? The concept is, why is there no harness?
Okay, what if he has a harness?
It's okay. At least I know you're safe fish.
Okay, what else? Continue with the list.
If he is or was in a cult.
What?
A cult? Like an Illuminati?
Any sort of cult.
Okay, what else?
Another thing. If you come from the North Korean faction.
North Korean faction?
If you or 3 generations before you are from North Korea.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Let me so...
Like I said, it's a petty hell nah list.
Okay,
if I see it, I won't even speak to you as an individual.
Okay, so basically, if from North Korea, then hell no.
Exactly.
Right? That's a condition.
That's
a condition.
Not even for my hubby. That's a condition for general humans. My hell nah list.
So your love is conditional because you're not going to love that person.
If I haven't even spoken to you, how am I loving you, Anthony? If you come to me and then I realize you tell me a story, oh my God, you know what? I'm a vegan, but I'm the type of vegan who will go and beat up protesters or go and burn down McD's or something just because they're making burgers. Do you think I'll even speak to you again after the first date? How am I even loving you?
What if you meet the person, you fall in love, you start the relationship?
That has never happened.
Everything is perfect.
That has never happened. Love at first sight. I just see them like this and then butterflies or something.
I'm not saying love at first sight. I'm saying you meet the person, through the relationship, you fall in love, right? And then the person starts to be very interested in cave diving.
I leave them.
You leave them?
Immediately.
So basically, your love with the person is conditioned by his hobby.
No, his safety. Why are you not safe?
Okay, whatever.
Choose another hobby.
Okay, no problem,
Please.
no problem. So your love for the person is conditioned by the safety. So your love is conditional.
Remember, I'm fragile mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Do you want me to find myself crawling on the floor? I'm like, he hasn't picked up.
So why were you saying
it's
that?
It's like marrying a soldier. It's hard.
Yeah, of course.
It's hard.
So
I
soldiers
can't.
don't deserve to be loved
Nah,
you,
for me, I'm saying it. It's not like they don't deserve it.
Yeah,
I know I
not
can't
for you.
handle
You cannot
it.
handle.
I cannot.
So your love is conditioned by what you can handle.
Let's say that.
Okay, so your love is not unconditional.
Yeah, I'll have to switch it. It's not.
Okay, I understand.
Because if I can't handle it, I'm like, oh, no. Let's just not.
What's the issue with North Korea?
Raoul, are you living under a rock or something? No. What do you mean what's the issue with North Korea? Everything is wrong with North Korea.
How do you know? You've
Why?
been there?
What?
Or you trusted the person who gave you the information about North Korea?
Now they're flipping the script on me. They're flipping the script on me.
You are talking about the leader of North Korea or everyone in North Korea?
Everyone who was just there and never decided to leave. You know, there are people who fought to leave, right?
Yeah, but there are people who are still there, not because they won, but because they can't leave.
And then I realized you are just there comfortably living. You aren't even jailed or something by Kim Jong-un. Please do not find me. But you aren't even jailed. You aren't even doing... you are just there and then surprisingly, you're out and about. It has happened. I listen to a lot of true crime. Like I said, this is my paranoia talking now. Most of my list is my paranoia talking.
Paranoia and love can cohabit? Paranoia and your beautiful... perfect love.
It will. It will, because he will handle my paranoia. Amen. He'll try to assure me that this does not exist.
Okay. So even when you are going to be paranoid of him, you have to handle your paranoia too.
Yeah, he'll try to convince me because my brain will eat me.
I think something you need to add to the list is hardworking because he's going to work hard.
And tolerating.
Yeah.
Because I'm too much work. Yeah.
What else on the list?
So, what else?
I think the general list is just petty, paranoia-driven things because it's something that I'm normally scared of. The list is just a list of my fears. If you read through it, you'll see you'll realize it's a list of my fears that I hopefully do not want you to have because it will trigger me.
Trigger your trauma.
Okay, so
I swear, Raoul is just
that's the truth.
It's not triggering my trauma. It's like I said, trauma, I am mentally and emotionally unstable. So if you are not careful, I swear you'll find me on the floor in a panic attack.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to avoid that.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid overthinking, stressing myself out because of something that wasn't even there.
So I have a question, right? You have someone who dreams of playing football, of being a great footballer, right? He has an issue with his leg. Let's say he has a disease that is affecting his leg. So his leg is not functioning properly, right? So let's say his leg is like half working, right? What will you advise the person if he dreams of playing football? To fix his leg and then play football, or to create his own tournament of
No. Medically, that's where I go the medical route. We try and find medical solutions first.
So he should try to fix himself.
Yeah, the thing that's trying to stop him from doing whatever
he should
he
not try to create his own tournament. He should try to fix himself.
Yeah, I'll try. If it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out. Maybe you can play fantasy football then.
Okay. So
perhaps you can do fantasy football.
Why don't you apply the same logic?
Because my logic does not work like that. Like I said, I overthink. I'm paranoid, and then I stress out.
Yeah,
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you try to jump one of that cycle,
but instead of trying to find someone that will handle all your paranoia and all these things,
you'll have that quality.
Yes, let me explain, right? Instead of trying to find someone that is going to be able to handle your paranoia and stuff, right? Why not fix yourself? So that you don't need someone to handle your paranoia. The same way you were saying that...
Because it's hard to fix that. That's not screws.
Everything that is worth...
It's not screws and all that. Even therapy cannot fix that.
How do you know?
No comment.
Everything that is variable is hard,
comment.
Right?
Yeah, but there are some things you can fix. Like a cup is broken, you can put it back together again.
Yeah.
But something that's emotional and mental, I've tried. It's not like I haven't tried.
Okay.
I've been trying for years, but... it gets worse.
To just create your football fantasy.
And somebody who will help me stay safe not even in a bubble, to remind me this is the foundation. If you step
I understand.
over
it makes sense, yeah.
You tumble over and then we lose you.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think we've really talked about a lot. This was
Thank
getting
you.
to know Kenzie 101, not even get to know women. It's getting to know
That's
Kenzie 101.
Because Kenzie is a special woman.
A tutorial.
Yeah.
Thank you for passing by.
Yeah, thank you.
You have a
Thank
final
you guys
word?
for having me as well.
You have a final word for the black cat guy that is looking at us.
Black cat guy. Please find me. I do not spend a lot. I read a lot. That's where your money goes, in books. Then please come with a hammer because you'll build me a library indoors. That's my final word.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It was Breaking Boundaries. We are trying to talk about everything.
And anything.
And anything. So see you next time.